Hello everyone, it's August the 13th. Alright, it's a late session because I want to switch to doing this at night. I mean, there's a lot of issues when doing early in the day. Because if I do it early in the day, I kind of lose ganas to do anything else. It's like this thing takes so much out of you. Like after you do the LeetCode, I just want to rest and relax. So we just hold on, like we just done the day's work first, and then at the end, we hit it. I mean, I'm not gonna be in my peak form, enter into it, but it's fine. I mean, oh, I have done this before. That's why I see tons of comments. Ah, now I get it. Now I get it. Sometimes I got these because I've done this before. I've made comments before. So yeah, this question must be the one that I have solved in the past. Or maybe not. I don't know. I'm curious. Maybe I've done it before. 73. Yes, I've done it before, so I don't remember. Alright, given n by n matrix, if an element is 0, set its entire row in a column to zeros and then return the matrix. You must do it in place. Ah, okay. Ah, okay. A straightforward solution using OMN space. Why OMN space? Don't need OMN space. A constant place. Oh, a constant place. I see. Because if we change and then it cannot iterate through. Like if here you change, and these will become zeros. And then you don't know if this is the first zero or the second time it becomes zero. I see. Okay. A constant space. That's what we're aiming for. I mean, we have values. So I just turn them into max, then that's it. Alright, if it's a 0, we turn everything into maximum, infinite. Alright, so just iterate through. Iterate through, we hit a 0, we turn into maximum. Except if it's a 0. If it's a 0, we keep it as 0, and then we just keep going. Yeah, just turn it into some value that's outside the range. And then we're good. And this is how I'm going to do it. I mean, it's a flag. We run through everything, and then we run through everything again, change the flag into 0. What can even... That's probably not what they want. All right, this is how I'm supposed to say. I don't think this is what they want, but screw them. I'm gonna just use this and see how it goes. All right, screw them. They might have some other scheme. I think this is probably how I do it the previous time. That's what I think, how I do it previous time. So let's do important math. All right, and then we say mn m n equals lan matrix, then lan matrix 0, and for I in range m, for j in range n, right? If matrix ij equal to 0, right? And then we turn the entire row, the entire column. And then for k in range, so we do entire row first, and matrix I k equals math.inf if matrix ik is not equal to 0. No. If k is not equal to, oh, yep, that's matrix. It's matrix ik, because if it's original 0, we don't change it. So you need to know if this, else it's still 0. Alright, so we'll keep it still 0. And then we do the same thing in range m. So it's going to be k, j, right? So the column if kj is not equal to 0, otherwise it is. So we do this. This will turn everything, right? This will turn everything into infinite, right? So we go here, we turn everything into infinite. And we can keep going. Right? We can keep going. We actually, no. We can skip. If a row has, yeah, we can skip for I in this, for j, if this equals this, we do this. If matrix ij is equal to math.inf, that means this row has already been turned into zeros. Then we just break. We already handled. Alright, so then we just go to the next one. And so we have a little speed up here. And we can also avoid. Now we just do all the column. That's fine. Columns is fine. Right? Oh no, I cannot do this because it could be a column. No. Don't do this. I just do this and then we'll do it again. So we'll do it 2 times. How about the runtime? Oh, runtime is actually worst case scenario. M plus n, here is m plus n. Mn times n plus n. Alright, and then we say if matrix ij equal to math.inf, matrix ij equals 0. And that's it. There's no return. Yeah, no return will be a bit difficult to handle, so we just check it here. Yeah, I think this is correct. Do another test case here. And 1. That shouldn't matter. Yeah, I think this is correct. Pending, judging, accepted. Yeah, this is correct. Yeah, we don't need test case for this. Oh, it's a runtime. Oof, pretty bad. I mean, I use math.inf as a flag to turn values other than the original zeros into 0. So the runtime, I think, is mn, right? But we have to go m plus n inside because this is on, this is on. Yeah, and then we run at where m is the number of rows and the number of columns. The runtime will have only 140 milliseconds, which is honestly pretty bad, right? Pretty bad. 20% ranking. Which means maybe there's a one-pass solution. It is possible that we have a one-pass solution, but the question is, how do we avoid, like if I hit here and then we go set all zeros, all right? Of the same rows and same column, right? That's the thing. Oh, I can record. I can record the rows and columns, and then, yeah, I can record the rows and columns. So we only need to run it 2 times. OMN. All right, let's try it again. But this time, we're gonna record the, okay, solution 2. Record the rows and columns. Right, so we say rows. Right, rows can be a set, columns equals to a set, both are sets, and then we do this, we do this. We say if matrix ij equals 0, rows dot add I, columns dot add j. All right, that's it. And then for, oh, but this is not constant space. This is not constant space. This is O1 space. O1 space. This is not. This is OMN space. Yeah, this is it's faster, but it's OMN time and OM plus N space. Yeah. Oh, whatever. All right. Well, literally whatever. For I in rows, for K in range N, matrix IK 0. Yeah, I just want to finish doing this. I realized. So J in columns, for K in range M, then for each column. Alright, so this is solution 2. I think this will be faster, but doesn't really satisfy the requirement of O1 space. This one shall be right. Yeah, it's right. And then it must be faster. Time-wise, it is faster. Oh, wow. That's much slower. Much, much slower. How? Well, we have, I guess, the hash. But still, even if we hash, I don't. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, so rows and columns. That's not OMN time. Plus, but it is. Maybe we'll do it again. We'll do it again. We'll say this. Alright, we'll say if I in rows or j in columns, then we set matrix ij equals 0. Something like that. And more explicit, right? That's for this one. I mean, it could just be, let's do more times. The runtime gets slower and slower. Yeah. Let's try this one. About the same. About the same. Okay, let's take a look at hint. Like, what else can you do? Can manipulate the array instead. It's using a flag? Oh. Two sets to keep a record of rows and columns. Oh, hold on. Two sets to keep record. We can use one of the rows and one of the columns to keep track. I see. When they use one row to keep track of all the columns. And it has to be the one that needs to be 0. But how do you know the original value? How do you know the original value? Shouldn't you use the first 0 encountered as, you cannot say the first cell of every row and the first cell of every column as a flag. If you use that as a flag, then what? Then you can use this as a flag, you can use these as a flag, like flags for the row, for the columns, right? Which column need to be turned into 0, which column, like 0, 1, and 1 and 0, right? But you cannot use any. But you cannot say, we cannot change this one. If we change this one, we have to change it back. Yeah, we can avoid using. So in my mind, we have to find the first 0, alright? After we find the first 0, then the row and column associated with this 0 becomes the one that we can use. Yeah, I don't think you can use anyone. Let's check the solution. I don't think you can use anyone. Additional memory. If cell ij equals 0. Oh yeah, exactly. Cell I, which is a row. Yeah, the first one. Oh, now I see its point. It is when you iterate through and you find any zeros, and then you set its front, and then set its first one on the row and the first one on the column to 0. Once you do that, and then the next time, we're gonna go row-wise, and every time you hit on a row, you hit a 0, you turn the whole row into 0. And every time you hit a column, you turn the column to 0. But that is, but here's the question. First row, yeah? second row and the second column. Oh, it's not iterating, it's iterating in a different way. Okay, so we're saying first row and first column, and then if anything is 0, we set that to 0. First cell of a row, the first cell of a column is satisfied. Yeah, the first cell of a row and a column. So the first row and the first is the same, hence we use an additional variable to tell us if the first column had been marked or not. Tell the same for the first row. Iterate over the decision makers from the second row and the second column. So second row and the second column, and for every cell we check if the row column had been marked. Oh, I mean, we can just use an RNC. Yeah, I think it's doing a very smart way. We're given a matrix, right? If I check first and first, and whenever we find one, we set this to 0, and then we set another column to 0. I just say column to 0 because first row, first column. And then we check the second and the second. If we find any, yeah, because if we check second row and the second column, we're avoiding the 0 that we set earlier. Right? We're avoiding it, so we can set a 0 if it's in the column, and anything in a column, and then in the row, anything in the row, we set a 0. And I went to the third. Oh, this is smart. This is very smart. Very, very smart. Yep. For every cell we check if the row or column have been marked. Then we set it to 0. Oh, it didn't even go it 2 times. I think it can do it in 1 time, 1 pass. Hold on. The first cell what if the first row and the first column is not 0? What do? You can't set it to 0 if it's not 0 originally. I mean, this works because the first one is. The current approach 2 is original approach 3. I still don't think it's correct. Oh, look at this. This is my response back in 2019. I don't understand right now, but I definitely understood back then. Wait, I commented on this, but now I don't understand. Like, what if I don't have 0 in the first row and first column? Oh, if we don't have, I see. If we don't have, then it's fine. Yeah, then there's just no zeros in those, right? Ah, it's putting zeros. It's putting zeros as a marker. But we can't. How can we put zeros as a marker? We check if the first column was marked. What if it's not marked? What if the first column is not marked? How do we turn it back? It's like, how do you turn it back? I don't understand. Let's see the code. Row column, first check cell, both row and column is the same. And additional, if I 0 equals 0, true. J in, so this is first column, first row, right? If an element is 0. No, it's for range 1. Column, then oh, this is iterating through everything. My bad, I didn't. This is iterating through everything. Except, I think it's iterating through everything I and J is from 1 to C. 1 to C. We are not hitting 0, 0. We're not touching the first column. Yeah, we're not touching the first column. We always go the second column. If ij equals 0. Then matrix 0j equals 0. That's to mark the jth column. And I, no, 0 is the first row j, yeah? And then I, 0 equals 0. Hold. Hold on. What we're saying is, if the first row has anything 0, we check on the first one, only on the first one. If it's not 0, then we check. If we check it is a 0, then we set the front, and we set a front, right, and set a top, which is understandable, right? And I feel like this is a. I feel like there's a trick, right? There's a trick here. Oh, not really, not really. Because if we go through everything and we say if, oh yeah, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Yeah, I think the original idea is right. So we go through everything, right? We go through by the row and column, like the first row and the first column. We go first row and first column, and then we check if there is nothing, then there's nothing. And then we go second row and the second column. Now when we go second row and the second column, the zero set, right? The futures, the marker zeros, they're not affecting because the marker zero didn't touch. Yeah, the marker zeros and the original zeros are two separate things, right? Two separate things. The marker zeros are set in the positions that the future check will not, we won't meet, right? Yeah, so first row, first column, if we find anything, we set to 0, right? And we need a column 1 as well. And then we go to second row and a second column. Now I go through second row and a second column because the marker 0 is at 0, 0 position. And the second row and second column, they won't touch it, right? They will not touch it. So anything, and then we check on the original, right? We check on the original. If it's 0, we set to 0. Right, if it's not, we leave as is. Oh yeah, this is very, very good. Truly smart solution. Very smart. Wow, I was like 2 years ago, right? When did I comment on this? I comment on it June 11th, 2019. Look at submissions. Yeah, June 11th. That was a long time ago. Oh, Java. Isn't that close to my internship? Was I in? Yeah, I was in internship back then, I think. Yeah, I think I was internship. Anyway, that's you have my way of doing this. This is official solution approach 2. Originally approach 3. Originally approach 3. I even left a comment there. Anyway, we need to copy and paste this. My dummy number can be used because infinite is a dummy number, right? So apparently I have marveled at this approach more than 2 years ago. But still, it took me a while to fully comprehend. It is very smart. It uses the first row and the first column as markers to indicate whether a column and a row will be 0. And if we iterate first row and first column, then second row, second column, we can avoid hitting the marker zeros. That's the brilliant part. We don't hit the marker zeros. This means we can separate the marker zeros from the real zeros. Yeah. Now I'm gonna write it myself. So first column 0, false, right? And then we're gonna go with first row and first column, right? Second row and second column. So this one's still needed. Oh, but at one time, we're gonna run out. So we still have to go, well, we still have to go like every single time, right? Every time if it's a 0, we set it to 0. Hold on. I was not fully understand. I still need some time. I think I still got a little bit stuck here. So we iterate through it regularly, right? And then every time if it's a 0, and we put this to be 0 and this to be 0. If it's not a 0, then we check to see if it's a 0 or if it's a 0. If it's a 0, then we turn that into 0. Which means we do have to go through it twice. We do have to go through it twice. First run through, we'll mark, right? We'll mark which one is 0, which row needs to be 0, which column needs to be 0. Yeah. And the second time we go through, yep. So first time we go through, we check everything. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter. So we check if it's a 0, then we need to put to here and put to here, right? And then if that is a 0, we just need to identify when we hit the column, the first column, because we won't be able to know the first column. Yeah, so if, yeah, that's that. And then, yep, it does. We do need to do it like 2 times. So the first time, right, for ij, right, and if this equals to 0, and we say if j is 0, which is first column, then we say first column 0 equals true, right? And else then j is not 0. Else then we say matrix I0 equal to 0 and the matrix 0j equal to 0. So first column, first row, right? After done that, then we just need to go through everybody again. Now, when we go through everybody again, the first row and the first column to do separately. That's why I in range 1 to m and for j in range 1 to n, right? So when I put a comment, say, notice that we will treat the first row and column separately, right? And then we just say if matrix I 0 right? Or if not, or not matrix zero j. So either one of them is 0, then matrix ij becomes 0. All right. And this is use first row. No, that's first column. Use first column to mark the row that will all turn into 0. All right. And here is used first row to mark the column, right? And here we turn this, and next handle first row. We say if matrix, if not matrix 0, 0, right? I say for j in range n. If you want to n because it's already 0, then matrix 0j equals 0. Yeah, this it's fine. And if first column 0, then for I in range m, matrix I 0 equals 0. Alright? And that's it. Very good solution. Very, very good. Kind of have like nostalgia coming back from the old times. I think there's an option to run example test cases, both cases. Yeah, it's looking nice. So I'm gonna submit it. I don't think this will be any faster. No, it's not any faster, but it is just very, very smart. Actually, how I put it, smart. All right, that will be it for today. See you guys tomorrow. Saturday. Oof, Saturday. It didn't do very well. It did very badly last weekend. So hopefully tomorrow would change the tide. Adios.